Hey guys, I'm Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography, and I'm based here in beautiful, sunny Southwest Florida. Remember me? I know, it's been a while. I've been doing a lot of soul searching on my YouTube channel the last 3 months, and I've decided that nobody wants to watch 15-minute long lens reviews. So what I decided to do is I decided to condense these reviews into something quicker, something more efficient, and something more watchable. I want to get these videos down to 4 to 5 minutes tops. And we're going to get into it today. Today we're going to give the Nikon Z series a little bit of love. And this is the Nikon 35mm f1.8S lens for the Nikon Z system. Is it any good? Well, let's find out. So first up is build quality. And right off the bat, this is plastic fantastic. It comes in at 13.05 ounces, which is very lightweight. I shoot a lot of weddings, and I prefer to use f1.8 lenses as opposed to f1.4 lenses if I'm going to be carrying these things around all day long. The lighter weight does make a huge difference. I mean, let's face it, I'm not getting any younger, and as I get older, lugging around f1.4 lenses all day long at a 10 or 12 hour shoot for a wedding, that really weighs me down. I much prefer the f1.8 lenses. What Nikon has given us here is a weather-sealed barrel, which is actually kind of surprising. Usually the f1.8 lenses are kind of focused more towards consumers, but this one's definitely more focused towards professionals. It's built really well, even though, again, it is plastic fantastic. On the inside, there are 9 rounded aperture blades for some surprisingly beautiful out-of-focus bokeh rendering. You do have to get relatively close to your subject to get that separation to see the bokeh in the background. The further your subject is away, the more they blend into the background. So be cognizant of that. If you like bokeh rendering, you do need to get a little bit closer with a 35mm lens. The focus ring, which by the way is defaulted to focus, it actually can be programmed to be exposure compensation and aperture control as well, but it is defaulted to manual focus, which is what I use it for. The focus ring is also wide and grippy and just rotates with the perfect amount of resistance. There really isn't a whole lot more to say. I mean, what more do you want besides a weather-sealed body that's lightweight like this, something you can carry around all day long, those long day shoots like a wedding. I'm going to ding it a little bit because, again, it is made out of plastic, but I find that to be as much of a benefit as it is a negative with regard to the lens's build quality. But overall, for build, we're going to give it an 8 out of 10. Next up is autofocus speed and accuracy, and Nikon has utilized a stepper motor inside the 35 f1.8. The pro to the stepper motor is that it's really smooth, so that for video, your transitions are very smooth and nice and silky. They're great. But for photos, what ends up happening here is that autofocus speed is a little bit on the slow side. Even though it's smooth and very accurate, it's not fast. But it's not so slow that you're going to miss the shot. And the reality is, most of us aren't going to be going from the minimum focus distance to infinity and back all the time. Chances are pretty good you're going to be somewhere in between, where autofocus speed is going to be adequate. More importantly, the autofocus accuracy has been outstanding. I do wish it were faster, but the bottom line is, for autofocus speed and accuracy, we're going to give the 35 f1.8 an 8 out of 10 for autofocus speed and accuracy. Next up is optical quality and the quality of the results. I could sing the praises of this lens in terms of its optics probably for 20 minutes, but in the spirit of keeping these videos short and keeping this under 5 minutes, one thing I'll say to you is that many a sin of a lens are forgiven if the optical quality is outstanding. And I have to say, from like third to third, when you picture the frame, the rule of thirds, anything within that third to third section of the lens, I found that even at f1.8, the image quality is simply outstanding. The bokeh rendering, in my opinion, is fantastic. It has like that soap bubble kind of bokeh in the background, which I think is just beautiful and artsy. And overall, it's just been a pleasure to use this lens. But that said, as with all my reviews, rather than me talking about it and telling you how great it is, I'd rather just show you. But in the spirit of keeping these videos short, I'm going to show you just 1 minute's worth of photos and videos taken with the 35mm f1.8S, and I think you'll agree the optics are simply outstanding. Last up is value. And at $846.95, the 35mm f1.8s from Nikon is by no means a cheap lens, especially when compared to previous generations like the DSLR version, which is under $500, and the APS-C version, which is under $200. It's a pretty stiff premium for a lens like this, but as I mentioned in the optics section, many a sin is forgiven if the optics are outstanding, and the 35S's optics are truly excellent. They're very, very, very good. They're outstanding. So in that sense, Nikon's kind of made up for it in that regard. And they've kind of put this lens in an interesting category. It's not really a consumer lens, but it's really not a professional lens either. It's definitely a prosumer lens because it has a lot of attributes that I really like, notably the optics. I prefer f1.8 lenses over f1.4 lenses, again, in certain scenarios like shooting a wedding all day long. I definitely prefer f1.8s, and if the optics are this good, then I'm good to go. I actually prefer carrying around these things all day long. But overall, for value, I think it's pretty good. We're going to give it an 8 out of 10. And to wrap up this review, we're going to give the lens overall a 44 out of 50 and our recommended rating. Now, there are a couple notable shortcomings here. I do like the 35S overall. I think it's an outstanding lens. I do wish it focused just a little bit faster, and I do think it's just a little bit overpriced. But all in, it's a pretty good package that definitely offers the goods if you are a professional. And if you're a consumer, it's a nice way to step up to something that's going to give you really great optical performance. So overall, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the 35mm f1.8s lens from Nikon. I'm Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography, and I'm based here in beautiful, sunny Southwest Florida. If you like videos like this, go ahead and give me a like, or better yet, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, happy shooting.